Hello and welcome. I decided to do this video because there's been a lot of talk over the last 24 to 48 hours about the Pakistan players' possible exclusion. I use the word possible because the auctions have not happened yet. Pakistan players' possible exclusion from Indian-owned franchises in the 100. If you see, former England captains have also now weighed in, and they are saying that this is an ECB property. How is it that the ECB can allow this to happen? Now, multiple questions come in here. One, did the ECB not know about the geopolitical realities when they sold the franchises to Indian-owned businessmen and billionaires? Are the ECB naive not to know about the geopolitical realities? They should have known. India and Pakistan fought a war last year in May. Operation Sindoor was clearly war, and it came to an end basis a ceasefire. It was not brought to an end, it was temporarily stalled. Thereafter, the political relations between the two countries have not improved one bit. Mohsin Naqvi at the Asia Cup tweeted the flight video. Mohsin Naqvi tweeted 6-0. Now, he is the president of the Cricket Board of Pakistan. Fahim Ashraf tweeted disgusting nonsense about Indian women. Sahibzada Farhan did what he did. Haris Rauf did what he did. Unfortunately, India-Pakistan relations, and I use the word unfortunately very consciously, have plummeted. India-Pakistan relations have plummeted. It is not as if India and Pakistan haven't worked together in the past. Take the time of Jagmohan Dalmia and Shahryar Khan. Take the time of Jagmohan Dalmia and Ehsan Mani. Both of these countries, despite being politically, by two different poles, have worked together in the past. Unfortunately, under Mohsin Naqvi, tensions have only escalated, and his own personal actions are singularly responsible for the escalation of tensions because he has brought his players into the mix as well, and at no point has it shown any signs of cooling down. Now, if the ECB is as much a part of the ICC and part of the ICC board, I am sure they know about the hostility that exists between India and Pakistan at this point in time within the framework of the ICC as well. So for them, when they sold franchises, when they sold multiple franchises to Indian owners, Indian billionaires, be it Mukesh Ambani or Sanjeev Goenka, did they not know the geopolitical realities? To say that Indian franchise owners are discriminating, what can they do? The ground realities are such. They can't go against national sentiment. Obviously, none of them will spell it out. No one's a fool. No one will spell it out, but can they go against the ground realities of their own country? When two countries are at loggerheads, when a Mohsin Naqvi tweets that flight celebration, when he tweets a 6-0, and a Fahim Ashraf does what he does, can an Indian businessman go and pick a Pakistani player for the 100 and invite backlash in his own country? Is that logical, rational, or prudent? For Western commentators, it is very easy to say any of this because they don't even understand the geopolitical reality. They are claiming that the ECB, this is that ECB's tournament, they should stop it. Of course, the ECB should have thought about it before selling franchises. Did they not know that this could happen? Did they not? Why not? At least enter into an agreement and ask at that point in time that if such a situation arises, what will you do? There is a labor law in the UK which says that discrimination like this should not happen. If something like this happens, what will the franchise do? Was any of these questions asked during the time of sale? No, absolutely not. In fact, from what I know, the ECB did reach out to the franchise owners few days back asking a question about auction strategy, saying the exact lines of the mail, something like this: the 1,000 players from Australia, Pakistan, etc., have registered for the 100, and wanting to know about the auction strategy of each of these individual franchises. None of these franchises have disclosed their auction strategy. Not even one that I know. And they are very, very right in doing so. Why should they? Why should any of these franchises disclose their auction strategy to the ECB? The ECB did not spell out in that mail or in that communication about Pakistan players. And none of these franchise owners also mentioned Pakistan players. So this will not ever come in the public domain. If anyone takes the matter to court, it is on them, the onus is on them to go and prove that this is a clear case of well thought out discrimination. The question is, what did you expect? What did a Michael Vaughan expect? Is Michael Vaughan this naive to think that Indian franchise owners, not only Michael Vaughan, anybody for that matter, did you think that Indian owned businessmen, Indian franchise owners will go and pick Pakistan players and create an entire controversy in their own country which could potentially harm and impact their own businesses for a team in the 100? Are you naive? Are you completely away from the geopolitics of this world, that in an interconnected world, space and geography, the boundaries have collapsed? Don't you understand the ground realities at the moment? And by the way, this is not a value judgment. I am not here to say this is good or this is bad. No, I'm not even bothered. I am stating facts here. That did you not know the ground realities? Did you not know the geopolitical realities that exist in our world? It is absolutely not about skill. Whether a Shaheen Afridi is picked by a certain franchise owner doesn't depend on his skill, and there is no two ways about it. It is a sad reality of our world that Pakistani players have become pawns in this larger geopolitical game between two countries which are at war. Everybody ought to know this. The ECB ought to know it. Commentators from the West who are taking this high moral ground ought to know it, that you cannot ignore ground realities. You cannot ignore, the realities, what the national sentiment that exists back home, also in the diaspora. In such a situation, the onus goes back to the ECB. The ECB should not have sold franchises to Indian-owned Indian business people had they been conscious and that this could happen. If you wanted to protect and safeguard, you should not have gone ahead, because this was absolutely in the offing. It was 100% known that this is what will happen. No one will publicly say a word on this before the auction on the 11th and 12th, and you will see that the 4 franchise owners who are Indian will not perhaps pick Pakistan players. That's exactly what should or could transpire. There are 2 ways to avoid this. The 4 others or the other franchise owners could be convinced to pick the Pakistan players. They could be convinced that this could result in a massive controversy. So if they could pick the Pakistan players, to try and push Pakistan players down the throat of Indian owners will not happen. No one will agree to this. They will cite team interest and balance of the team and cricketing considerations, that they do not need the Pakistan players in their team, and you cannot disapprove or contest such a suggestion. Then you take them to court and prove that this was deliberate discrimination. I'm sure they will want to fight that out. There are larger considerations in this world, and it is rather naive for former captains or former players and current journalists not to understand the ground realities and come forward and say what they are. Did they not know any of this before? Was Operation Sindoor happening somewhere hidden that people did not understand? Was Naqvi not tweeting in the public domain, or his tweets are not in the public domain? The Pakistani Cricket Board is run by the Interior Affairs Minister. He is singularly responsible in escalating the tensions between the 2 cricketing establishments, and you cannot ignore that. The players will have to pay a price of this. Take Asif Nazrul. He singularly made a mess of Bangladesh's participation in the World Cup. Mohammad Ashraful Haq rather said that to me clearly in that interview, that Asif Nazrul took a 180-degree U-turn. Players have confided in him that they wanted to play. Number 2, if you take a look, you will see very clearly yesterday the assistant coach Salahuddin also coming and saying that the political establishment singularly responsible for destroying the dream of many players. So it is the political establishment that is taking these calls, and the players will have to face a brunt of it. So while no one can pinpoint if Pakistan players will be picked or not picked, let me be very blunt. I don't think it is at this point feasible or possible for Pakistan players to get picked. It is highly unlikely that any of the Indian franchise owners will want to pick Pakistan players and open a Pandora's box. That's the ground reality. I'm not going to take a moral position. I know the players have not done anything wrong. The players are not at fault here, but that's the ground reality that exists in our world. Thank you very much for watching and look forward to our next video very, very shortly.